In this second part to the layout video, what I want to do is to continue bringing in our JPEGs or our images of the 4 individual homes. So go ahead and pick on your second page styles, and we will begin by going to File, Insert, and looking for your images. There's one of them. Pick Open. And once you get to this point, I would like for you to resize them by 1/2. So again, hold down your Shift key, come up here to a corner, and when you see those two double black arrows, hold down your left button on your key, or rather your mouse, and then move your mouse until you see 0.5. Now, it will, if you do it slow enough, it will automatically lock into half of the size. So I'm just going to place it up there for right now, get it out of the way, and continue bringing in each one of them one by one. There's another one. Open. Again, resize it. Couple more. One last one, and I think it's the Santa Barbara, and there it is. Okay, so once you have resized them to 1/2 of the original size and roughly place them over here, now you can notice that you have a red tracking guideline right there, and what it's doing, it's measuring the very top of the gray area when I'm moving it over here. So we're going to be using some of that. And in layout, it's all about presenting your images. And what you want to do is to make sure you present them nicely or in a aesthetic way. So I'm going to guide you through that the way I would like for you to present your project here. So if you notice that the distance here between these two gray areas is different from this. So what I'd like for you to do is kind of even all that up. And just by moving it, you notice that this was tracking across here, and this looks pretty even. What you can always do is just go to the Move command, and it doesn't matter where you pick, but if you kind of go there, you see in the upper left-hand corner of the image, it locked onto that, and now it's moving it over here. And if you move down here, it'll lock on to a place as well. So if you just kind of move it around, there it is. So you see on the top you have the red dash line, and on the right side you have the green dash line. So it's automatically lining it up here and on the side. So this one's a little off, so I'm going to select this one and move it down to here. It'll lock on that corner, and when you move it up, it'll track up. And if you want to do it over here as well, just move it slowly, and there it is. So you can see that it's lining up there. The other thing you could do is to turn on the grid, and you can do that by right-clicking and Show Grid. And if you get real close to this, you can see that the grid lines and the images here match up as far as the same distance. There's a little gap there, but these are even. And this is another way of positioning your items, where if you want to line them up in a row, you have guidelines with the grid. But we didn't really need that, so I'm going to back out of my view and start to look around here. So they're all kind of even with the gray area, but we still have this big gap here. So I'm going to select these two, and I like crossing windows. You can always select one, hold down the Shift key, and then select another one. But I prefer doing it quickly by just holding down the left button of the mouse and just dragging it across both items and lifting up your finger. And once you get that little move symbol there with the 4 arrows, you can move it manually by holding down the left button and moving your mouse. Or what I like to do is to move it with the arrow keys. And that's kind of one notch at a time. So you can barely see it move a little bit. And these are great for fine-tuning. Now if you hold down the arrow key, it'll move it a little faster. Okay, so what I'm looking for is equal distance between here and here and here and here. So this is still a little wide, right? So we need to keep on moving these two to the left a little bit, similar to that. Okay, that's pretty good. We don't have to get it exact, but just looking at it, it's pretty darn close. Now overall, you have a lot of space over here and not too much over here. So again, I'm going to window the 4 homes and then move the whole thing over a little bit so I can have an equal space between here and here and here and here. Now there is a function where you can right click and center either vertically on the page or horizontally. But sometimes that doesn't work depending on the style of title block that you chose. So if I go horizontally like what I'm trying to do, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so if you notice, there's a little bit more space between here and here than here and here. Not much, but a little bit more. So what it's doing when you use that function, it's measuring from the outside to here and to here to here. But since we have this detail of our title block, don't get rid of this line because that's part of the style, we want to center it between here and here and here and here. So it's pretty close now, but I'm going to move it over a little bit like that. Maybe one more and call it good. Okay, so now we have it this way, and this way looks pretty good. Now don't forget, we are going to label our individual home styles underneath here, either on the center or off to the side. So what we want to do is to make sure we have enough room down here. Now we all lined up the gray area, but what I'd like for you to do is to line up more so the bottom of the homes. So if you can see that this home is a little higher on the gray area than this one. So what I'm going to do is to select this one and move it down a little bit. Okay. You can either zoom in and kind of try to see the grid line here where it goes, or sometimes I'll just draw a quick guideline, okay, and so it's there, but what I need to do here is to move this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to just delete that. Now the bottom of the home on this side and on this side are equal. So let's check over here, and this one looks pretty good. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so but look what it did over here. It threw this out of alignment. So what we're going to do is to maybe crop some of this. So again, we want to make sure our fill is off over here. We're going to the rectangle, and I'm going to pick here and here. So if you notice at the top over here, it's going to cut it off, and the bottom over here, and it's going to make these two pretty equal. So once you have the rectangle, again, you have to select everything, okay, and then right click and create clipping mask. All right, so now the bottom of the house here and here are equal. The top and the bottom of the gray area is also equal. We still have our same roughly dimensions here with the white area. But now these two gray areas are a little thinner than from here to here on these two. So what I'm going to do is just crop out a little bit from here as well. So again, rectangle, and maybe I'll crop out about here and maybe leave it up to the top there. That's good. Like that. I'll see how that looks. And then again, select all three, right click, create clipping mask, exit out of this. You can just pick it in the gray zone here. And looking at them, they look pretty even. Again, you don't really have to be measuring these, but just kind of eyeball it. And what I'm looking at is the distance between here and here on all four homes. And it looks pretty even. The distance between here and here, this is a little tighter here. And this is a little different because it has that shed roof there. So I'm going to leave it like that and call it good. I think we have enough room for the bottom for our labeling, and we have centered it nicely, and we're ready to put a border around our homes. To place a border around each individual JPEG, make sure you come over here and again leave the fill off, and where it says stroke here, change the 0.5 to just highlight it, and we'll try 6 points for right now. You might have to adjust that, but let's just say 6, and then I like to hit enter all the time. And just simply go to the rectangle command, and it'll lock into the corner, and just pick it once and pick it over here again. Now if you zoom in, it should lock into that corner there. There it is. Okay. And again, each corner, you might have to zoom in and out. There you go. And there. There. Now sometimes you will get that little green grip there, and sometimes you won't. It depends on how you crop these, because in cropping or creating a clipping mask, you're actually just hiding some of that. And so once you make the border, you can find those because it's the end point of this line. As long as you cover up the edge and everything is equal. Okay, so we have to also go to our cover page, and I'd like to have a little border on that. And let's try 8 points on that. So 8, enter. And then again, we'll pick there and pick there. So it's always nice to have a border around your images, and that acts as a frame around your picture. So this one's complete, and styles, that page is almost complete. In the next video, we will be labeling and finishing up with the site page.